Hey, Dreaming of Diamond, I'm so excited to welcome our amazing new friend, Shannon. She is going to tell us all the things. She's going to teach us how to just slay this thing like she's doing, and we cannot wait. So, Shannon, we're so thankful to have you here, and take it away.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always an honor to get to share with other teams and just to get to do this. So just so you know a little bit about me, I was introduced to Plexus probably 5 years ago. I joined in August of 2017 and said I would never tell a soul. There we go. Okay, now you can hear me. That's okay. The gal who signed me up actually was my babysitter. She babysat my kids, and she kind of had sent me a message, have you ever considered, probiotics, whatever. I said, yeah, I've already done that. I don't need any of that. Well, then I needed it. So we won't go into my entire health story, but I was 35 and feeling the worst I'd ever felt, even though I was like physically in the best shape I'd ever been. So got started, said I would never tell anybody because I wasn't going to be one of those people. However, I'm a real green personality and I love research and I love facts. And so I was already thinking about gut health. I'd already been researching about how to help my anxiety, how to help my blood sugar and all these things. And then the more I read about it, the more I went, oh, our pink drink has those ingredients. And it just started clicking. And then because I'm also an Enneagram 2, I'm a 3-wing 2, the 2 likes to help. I'm always helping people. And because I'm an Enneagram 3 and because I'm a red personality, I'm going to tell you my opinion, whether you asked for it or not. That's just who I am. So anyone who knows me knows that. And so friends around me would say, I don't feel good, or I'm having this issue. And I would just be like, have you ever considered this? And that's how it started. I just was telling them. And then I started thinking about the Facebook game. And I was like, I wonder how I could get these products paid for. And I wasn't active on Facebook at all at the time. I didn't want to be one of those people. But something just deep down inside just was like nudging me, like, keep going, keep sharing. There's something here. So when I first started, I shared all the really nerdy research about things. And what ended up happening then is less than 2 years in, I found myself sitting at senior gold. And Sarah Marble is my closest working diamond. So my person signed me up. I have surpassed her in rank. That person that signed her up, I've surpassed her in rank. Okay. And then above her, that person left. And then above her is a non-working emerald. And above her is another non-working emerald. And then Sarah. So no one taught me how to do this, right? Like I just figured it out. I just was like, well, I'm going to do this. And because at the time, Sarah did not know who I was. I was 6 levels down from her. So I was really not her responsibility, if you will. So then that year, I don't know how long you guys have all been around, but we had a bunch of iPads one March. I don't know how many of you remember that. And I was a big earner that month. Like that was huge for me. And I got invited to Sarah's beach retreat. And I was like, what on earth? I felt so like, she's made a mistake. Like, forget it. So I go, I meet her, I meet this team, and I think, I have to keep going. I have to keep doing this. And just from meeting them and hearing their passion, it just inspired me. So all that to say, here I am 4 years later, I'm a senior Ruby. I am kind of making a run, if you will, to hit Emerald by March, kind of making some plans. Yes. Yay. So kind of working that out. And so what I want to share with you then, kind of when Sadie and I were chatting, is she's like, I want you to share, how do you show up on the leaders board consistently? And that this year has been insane. And so here's what I'll tell you is I never planned or tried to get here, right? That this isn't something I actually envisioned for myself. It was just something that kind of came about. And several years ago at convention, the very last one we had, actually Bob Heilig spoke, and he talked about Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn does this great network marketing it's like an hour long. And he just does this great job of talking about consistency. He just talks about showing up. He talks about planting the seeds in the field and staying put and staying in your field and not going to this one or not going to that one, but continuing to plant right where you're at, because the harvest will happen. And I really took that to heart and thought, you know what, that was a really good idea. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And so I'm going to plant where I'm at. And then our company is amazing. And so during this time, as I was figuring out how to do this and how I wanted to do my business, my way that fit for me, there were just some great trainings going on. Genevieve started to come in. I listened to some things by Jessica Heffley, just really took some things to heart about being consistent. And I think it was Jessica Heffley that said, what you do today will transpire in 90 days. So that means what work I'm doing today will transpire 90 days later. And then tomorrow, 91 days later, and then the next day, 92 days later. So it's not, I do work today and then sit back and expect it to show up. I have to do the work every single day. And then what is that work I'm going to do? And so through all of these trainings and everything else, here's what I'll tell you is that I've learned, and I'll tell you what I do every day. So I've learned that your speed doesn't matter. Okay. Forward is forward. I think a lot of times we get really tripped up on speed, right? Like, but they did it faster or whatever. And I'm here to tell you, like, my diamond has been here for 10 years. And I love the fact that she is still sharing. And if you look at some of our other leaders in our company, they've been here forever, and speed isn't a factor, right? So forward is forward. And the only way you're going to move forward is by being consistent. Okay. So anyone can bust out of the gate and be super intense, right? You know, we've all done like a 30-day wellness, right? And we're doing really good for the first 5 days. And then we just fall off, because everyone can start with intensity, but you have to be consistent. And being consistent means being dependable and being trustworthy. And you're going to do what you said you were going to do. And it's got to be on the daily. It has to be on the daily. And then you have to show up authentically. So you've got to be consistent, because people want to trust that you are going to keep showing up. Is she going to keep showing up? And you've got to be authentic, right? So like tonight, I mean, which I appreciate, most of you are just in your Monday night garb. I'm like, all right, I'm going to show up authentically. I don't have any makeup on. My eyebrows are not filled in. I put on some cute earrings for you. But I put on my glasses to hide, all this, whatever's going on under there. But I've just learned I have to show up authentically on social media. People need to see all sides of me, right? They need to see me not in my makeup, in makeup, just everyday life, being vulnerable, talking about my life, what I'm passionate about, those kinds of things. Remembering that you are responsible for how you show up, right? You actually aren't responsible for when your success happens. You're just responsible for the things that you're doing. So that way the success can happen, right? Just like when we plant those seeds in the field, you're not in charge of when the harvest happens, because have y'all ever tried to plant a garden? I mean, theory, right? In theory, this is when things happen. I had a tomato plant that didn't produce fruit for 6 months. What tomato plant does that? None of them, but this one didn't. And it was just this great reminder that you're not in charge of when the fruit happens. You're just in charge of how you show up. And if you're diligently there, and if you stay put, so you can reap the harvest when it comes. And then, there's motivation, right? And motivation's a terrible friend. She's not always there when you need her. You've probably seen that graphic before. Below inspiration, you have to be inspired, right? Work from a place of inspiration. Why are you even here? I'm here because I genuinely care about people. And I know that there are so many people that still need help with their health, right? Some days I don't feel very inspired. So then what's beneath that? Conviction. I feel very convicted on a deep, deep level that there is hope and healing with our products. And so I'm going to keep sharing, even if I don't feel inspired and I don't feel motivated. That's why we follow other people and we go, what did she post about the other day? Oh, that was good. Okay, I'm going to take that and put that in my own words, because I feel that same conviction that she did. So those are kind of some of the things I work from. And when I say you're responsible for how you show up, I did not have uplines that taught me anything. My uplines did not know what to do. They still don't know what to do with me. Like my closest two, they don't know, because I've surpassed them, right? Like I am balanced to go emerald, and neither one of them are balanced to rank up to ruby or senior ruby. So, and that's not a dig on them. They just didn't know. They had no idea when they brought me on that I was going to blow up the way I did. I didn't either. So I had to figure it out, and I had to be a learner. And what I love about our company now, which wasn't 4 years ago, is that you can learn anything you want to learn. Our Monday night trainings are amazing. The fact that, Sadie is doing extra stuff for you, I think is amazing. I have yet to actually figure this out for my own team yet, just because I'm an overthinker, and our Diamond does a really good job too. So I've been trying to partner with her. But be a learner. So with that, then something that I feel really strongly about is daily habits. And so even if I don't feel like it, there are things I do every day that I really believe has helped me land on the leaderboard. And one of them is being social. We know that. We know we have to show up on social media, but you also have to show up well. Okay. You have to show up well on social media. You can't just put a fluffy graphic out there. People want to know you. They want to know who you are and they want to know what you are about. And so if you follow me, you're going to learn real quick that I love coaching volleyball. I'm a sports mom. I'm a marriage mentor. I love gut health, and I'm not afraid to tell you what I think. You'll learn that real quick when you follow me. And I've had to settle into who am I and what are my platforms and what am I passionate about, and then stick within those things. And do I make a plan for posting? Sometimes, but sometimes it just kind of comes to me. I tend to have notes written down about things I want to talk about, but there are a lot of things I want to talk about with people, but you can't talk about it all the time. So it's just always kind of there. So making sure it's quality. And I first learned how to use Facebook first, and then Instagram came second. So I would always say, choose one platform, do it well. You have to talk in your stories. You have to show up in your stories. And I would say most people will tell you they feel like they know me from my stories, because I'll show up on there and I'll talk, and it'll just be however I am every day. Like I'll be on a walk or whatever. I'm usually not in hair and makeup ever on my stories. I learned that from Bob Heilig. If you follow Emily Gibson, she's always kind of been that way too, which I really appreciate. And so I just talk about my daily life, and then I'll throw in some health stuff, but people know that I'm usually going to give them a health tip or what I'm up to for the day. And so I would show up there. And so you have to pick one. I mean, if you had to pick one thing to do consistently, it would be to post every day on social media, but it has to be a quality post, right? And just because someone doesn't like it doesn't mean they didn't watch it. Only 5 to 6% of your audience actually sees what you're posting at a time. So while I feel like I'm an old record, most people probably have never heard what I've said. You just never know. With that, you have to engage on social media, right? These platforms are watching you. Are you here just to sell something, or are you here to get social and engage? And so commenting on things, watch stories, comment on stories, comment on people's posts, comment back when they post with you, just those kinds of things. Because people, I mean, you guys probably all know this, but they're looking really to buy who you are, not so much what your product is. What did it do for you? And in that, even if you feel like you've told your story a gazillion times, keep telling your story, and then tell other people's stories. Tell what this has done for your friend. Tell what this has done for your upline. Keep telling stories. With that, with your people that you're working with and they are having good success, don't be afraid to say, hey, could you give me a shout out? Would you mind just posting that real quick and just, giving me a quick thank you on social media? I would really appreciate it. My business runs on referrals. And so I would say in this last year, as I've gotten bolder with that, what that does is it helps them, because people go, what are you doing? But then it validates me. So a lot of people I've been working on for a long time are starting to join me because, oh, their friend joined me too. Oh, I didn't know Brooke was using products with Shannon. Okay, Shannon, I'm ready now. I saw Brooke's story, right? Okay, and so don't be afraid to ask them. Just you need to validate yourself, right? That's okay. It's okay to bring validity to what you are doing. And then doing intentional reach outs, right? Happy birthdays are the easiest things to do. Wish someone a happy birthday. When you message someone in Messenger, your content's going to show up with them. And so you want to do that. Send them a happy birthday message. You saw they celebrate an anniversary, get social with people. And maybe you saw someone come across your feed you haven't talked to in a while. Send them a message. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How are you doing? This is a people business, not with the intent of selling plexus, right? Because when you are this way, when you are approachable and your content is good, people will come to you already ready to learn about your product or ask you questions, and they will come to you already sold. And so I really work hard at this part. Of course, there's customer care. That's a big piece of retention. I have a whole system for that. But I would say really in an hour a day, you can do this in less than an hour too. Like when I'm sitting in the car line picking up my daughter, I am doing something really intentional. I'm either answering messages, or I'm engaging on social, or I'm doing my stories, like, fit it. And I always tell people, you can do this in an hour a day. You can create content in 15 minutes. You can take 15 minutes to engage. You can take 15 minutes to intentionally reach out, and then do 15 minutes of follow up, which would be part of customer care, but you have to follow up. And you may all know this, but in Instagram now they have a flag. Have you discovered this? You can flag people in Instagram, which is beautiful. So anyone I've ever talked about Plexus with, I'm going to flag them, because then when I go back on my Insta DMs, I'm going to go through the flags and I'm going to go, okay, where did I leave off in conversation with them? I just had a gal who hadn't talked in 3 months. And I said, hey, Karen, it's been a long time since we connected. How have you been? And I didn't bring up Plexus at all. And she said, I've been really good. And I've been thinking about that program. Right. So just all of those things, I just try to be as social as possible. So, that was kind of like a lot, and I hope you caught it, but that's in general my framework for every day. Those are the habits that I try to do on the consistent every day. Cause when I'm doing those things, then I'm ready to reap the harvest when it comes. Right. And then using our systems, right. Can you tell me about your products? Yes. Let me send you a quick video. Like, it's just super, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I could just do it in my sleep. Right. Yeah. So knowing all that, Sadie, do you have any questions or anything you want me to?
I loved this. I love how you just said that, everything that you were doing that felt very instinctual, you just fed them into the Send, Share, Invite system, which is obviously available in our virtual office. Right. So I don't know about you, but I'm really trying to lean more, I started back in the vintage days when we had to create our own stuff.
Yeah.
And now us old dogs, I don't even know if that's a proper term, but we had to create it, but now we're just saying like, wow, this is incredible. And we can lean into this. So I appreciate everything you're saying. Do you mind if I let anybody ask questions?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Go ahead.
I didn't prepare them, but I'll stop recording just in case it's like a private thing.